What's going on, potential new Uber drivers? Uber man with the plan here, and I just want to share with you my experience driving for Uber through my first 30 trips, which essentially was a month. So let's talk about the process. Pretty easy, pretty straightforward process. You go online, you upload your registration information, your car insurance, a picture of your driver's license. They are going to run a background check on you. So if you wear an ankle bracelet that's also a GPS indicator in it, not the thing for you. If as a child you did some things and you're not far enough from your childhood such that that's still on your record, Uber driving might not be for you. But if you got a clean criminal record, you wasn't hanging outside some playgrounds giving kids candy, talking about you have a lost puppy, Uber is going to be your one. Now, let's talk about the money. I want to talk about the numbers. Understand, when I'm talking about the numbers, these are numbers for a major city. If you're from a small town, the numbers might be a little different. And the requirements, by the way, for driving might be a little different. They might have a car inspection in your city. Some cities, they don't inspect cars. So after the process, here's an example where procrastination paid. I got the green light to drive. That took about 3 days to get approved to drive. But then I didn't drive for about 5 days. However, you would think Uber probably wouldn't like me. No, they like me even more. They offered me $50 to take my first trip. So I'm telling you that so that in case it might work for you, depending on the demand in your city, get their approval to drive and lag a little bit of time there before you take your first trip. There might be $50 extra in it for you, like it was for me. Also, when you start driving, you want to come in with a referral. It's good for you, of course, because you get extra money, and it's going to be good for the person who referred you. So down below this video, I'm going to have my referral code. I want to encourage you, if you don't have one, use that referral code. For me, it got me an extra $100 in addition to the extra $50. That referral bonus is significant, and I got it after just the first 30 trips. So let's drill down to talk about specifics in terms of how much money you will earn. I'm doing this as a side gig just to make a couple extra bucks, and a couple extra bucks is not too far from what the earnings really are. I earn about $75 per week on average with about 10 to 11 rides per week. How much time am I using? Good 7 hours about per week. So I'm usually going after work, but I would encourage you to determine when the best time to drive is in your city. So I've tried in the morning. One day I turned the app on at 5:50 and got a couple of riders before I went into work. In fact, that's where I got a $5 tip. So let's talk about tips. The Uber app doesn't allow for the patron to tip, but sometimes the patrons do tip, and Uber is neutral on the process. They don't want you to encourage people to tip, but they also don't mind you receiving tips. And so, out of the 30 rides that I've had, I've gotten a $2 tip, a $3 tip, and a $5 tip. Again, coming back to the times that were good, you also want to consider driving during surge times. A surge time is where Uber actually depends on the demand. It's all about supply and demand. They will raise the rates, double or triple what the normal rates are. If there's a professional sporting event in your town, if you have a concert in your town, any events where there are going to be thousands of people, if they're gathering and there's drinking, there are probably going to be people who are going to want to take the Uber to get there. So you want to make sure that you're available during that. I've had that experience one time, and it was fantastic. For that week, I probably earned the most, actually earned over $100 that particular week. But again, I'm giving you the average numbers because you're not always going to drive on a surge time. Airport. One time I turned the app on just in the middle of the day at noon, got a rider who was going from a suburb out near where I live to the airport about 35 minutes away. So that was a $23 ride, and that driver tipped this much, right? So it doesn't matter in terms of who. I had one driver who had a $6 ride, gave a $5 tip. A person who was being picked up from work, a waitress, obviously not making a whole bunch of money, $8 ride, gave a $3 tip. So that really just is all over the place. The demographics on tipping, it really just depends. But for you, just make sure you're professional, make sure you're polite, try to get to the folks on time, try to get them there as quickly but safely as possible. And I think you too will have a happy NUber experience. This is the Uber man with a plan signing off. Use the referral code below so that you can get your referral bonus. 2 fingers. Peace.